Hey, how's it going? George here today with another daily check-in on the progress I've made today on my journey to becoming an established motivational well-being speaker. And the little chuckle at the beginning there was just because for some reason, and I've done like 200 plus of these videos now, start them nearly always exactly the same way. Yet today it's taken me like 5 goes to get into this, and I just decided, you know what, whatever happens on this one, this will be the take. I very, very rarely do more than one take for any of my videos, let alone these daily check-in vids. But I wanted just to kind of check in today, as always. But a couple of things. One is to say, well, this is what I've done today. But also another thing that occurred to me. I said a while ago that I was going to start doing more sort of teachy sessions within these videos, and I haven't really done a huge amount of that. I did a bunch of procrastination videos, a series of them, and I've just put the third one of them up on LinkedIn today. They're all up on the blog, but I'm kind of putting them more publicly on LinkedIn. Interestingly, the first one got good traction back end of last week on Thursday, but the other two haven't really hadn't anywhere near the same sort of response. But anyway, that's I wonder if I'd been so enthusiastic about it if I'd had zero response or the same response on the first video I put up. Anyway, that's another matter. So yeah, I just kind of realised that I hadn't really done a huge amount of the teachy stuff on here, and sharing my thoughts, sharing my proper ideas that I've been coming up with and ruminating on. So I'm going to do a bit of both today because it's something that's been, this particular thing has been on my mind a lot today, and it's the thing I talked about yesterday. I referred to it as the idea that kind of came to me when I was driving back from my dad's on Sunday evening. In terms of what I've done today, a couple of things. I did make some progress with the talk for Milton Park, the Mingle event, which is a week tomorrow. A week on Thursday. So that's good. I'm pretty confident with that. I've got some good stuff. I just wanted to kind of work the opening, and the opening actually, the introduction looks like it's going to be on this this thing which I'm about to share with you and tell you about. And the other thing that happened today was I had a tech check-in with a client I'm working with in a couple of weeks' time. It's a webinar on running for beginners, a subject I'm not only passionate about, but I've spoken about so much over the last 4 or 5 years since writing the book on the subject, Beginner's Luck Guide for Non-Runners, available from Amazon. Go pick up your copy right now if you're interested in that subject. Anyway, can't resist it. I obviously I need to put some time and effort into creating this 60-minute presentation, but really, really looking forward to doing that one. And this was just a bit of a tech check-in, and obviously I had a chance to meet and chat to the client a little bit as well there. Anyway, so this idea that I had yesterday, or rather the night before, was all about the decisions that we make in our life, throughout life, that lead us to where we are today. It's not, where we are. It's not purely the result of decisions that we make. Sometimes other people will make decisions. Sometimes fate takes us in a different direction to which we would perhaps have wanted to. But ultimately, there are a lot of things that we do that have reasons why we are where we are because of decisions that we have made. So we have got some control, and we have exerted some of that control over the years. Myself, for example, I decided back in 2002 that I wasn't going to pursue a career in engineering, following on from the degree that I just graduated with a master's in from Loughborough, and I was instead going to follow my career, pursuing my passion for health, fitness, well-being, and sharing those messages with other people. So that was the first big decision I made with regards to my career. Then a few years later, I spotted an advert in an industry magazine talking about or asking for people to apply for positions of lecturing for personal training diploma courses. And I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And so I decided to apply, and I got a position with Drummond Education. This is way back in, I think, 2005, 2006. And I worked with them for a few years delivering personal training diploma courses, or elements of modules on those courses. And that really was my first proper foray into presenting. I'd done some classes, delivering exercise classes when I was at Fitness First, but way back in the early days, 2002. and onwards, but I hadn't ever done any of this presenting. So that was really my first break, my first shot at doing that. And I absolutely loved it. And that was kind of where I decided I really wanted to be doing more of this. And so, from there, I made other decisions to move into doing my own seminars, my own workshops, and ultimately that led to workplace wellbeing. And then finally, another really key decision was a couple of years ago when I decided, coming from the Latin origins of de and seed, which mean to cut off. So cutting off all other options, I decided that actually what I was going to do was I was going to stop the boot camp, I was going to stop the personal training, and I was going to focus a lot more on my online business, but also my workplace wellbeing, corporate fitness, corporate wellbeing business. And ultimately that's what's led me here today, giving this little video update. If it wasn't for those 3 decisions, then I would be doing something very, very different. And so these big decisions kind of chart our course, they set our sails and lead us in these different directions in our lives. Yet it's the little day-to-day insignificant, or not insignificant, certainly unglamorous decisions that we make, the actions that we take on a daily basis, that are the wind in the sails that power us forwards. Because without that action, it's like the 3 birds sitting on a wire. One decides to leave. How many birds are left? It's still 3 because one's decided, but it hasn't actually done anything yet. And this, I think, is, that's not only going to be a part of my introduction to this talk on Friday, in a week or so's time. It's also something that I think is kind of fundamentally, it kind of encapsulates a lot of what I talk a lot about, which is that you just got to take action. And imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. You just got to take action, you just got to do. And start making progress, and not wait for the perfect time, wait for the perfect opportunity, wait for the perfect opportunities that are there, systems and support, and you can't wait for all those things. You just have to get started, whatever it is. And I talk obviously mainly about well-being and decisions you make with regards exercise and nutrition and recovery, like sleep and meditation, and other recovery strategies. But this really is applicable to pretty much anything you want to achieve success in, or you want to change direction in your life. You have to do things differently, otherwise you keep going the same way. So that idea that I had, I kind of expanded it out a little bit and realized how closely it tied in with everything else that I talk so regularly about. And I think one of the challenges I've got is when I come up with an idea like that, and I think, oh, right, I want to share this. I end up, I'll do an Instagram post, I'll do a LinkedIn post, I'll do a video, I'll write a blog on it, I'll put it out in an email. And so I did all those things this morning and realized I hadn't actually done the main thing, which was to sit down and write this flipping introduction. But interestingly, having done all those things, it had focused my mind, and it allowed my wandering thoughts to crystallize a little bit more. And so it actually was a lot easier to do it. And advantage being, I just rattle that off there. That's pretty much exactly what I wrote earlier on a couple of times. It's now in my head, it's locked in, it's a story. It doesn't have to be memorized. It doesn't have to be, I have to kind of remember everything because it's in there. And this seems to be the way that my brain works. Just sitting down and trying to write a speech does definitely not work for me. I've proved that a few times now. But anyway, there we go. A check-in and a little bit of a teachy thing. Not that there's a real massive lesson there, other than you got to take action, right? And that's not news to anybody, at least let alone you. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know that I'm a big believer in the importance of taking action. These videos being a part of that philosophy, a part of that kind of an embodiment of that philosophy, if you will, taking action. Anyway, there we go. There's my check-in for the day. If you enjoyed it, if you thought, okay, that was of moderate interest or above, if you grade it more than moderate interest, then give it a like, give it a YouTube thumbs up. It's appreciated, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another daily update. Bye for now.